Ladies and gentlemen, one of the hardest things in life is waiting. We don't like to wait on nothing. We don't like waiting in traffic. We don't like waiting in line at the store. We don't even like waiting for that microwave to finish. And when it comes to our dreams, our purpose, our prayers, we definitely don't like waiting on God's timing. But let me tell you something I've learned, y'all. God ain't ever late. He's never early. He's always right on time. The delay is not the denial. See, sometimes we confuse delay with denial. We pray for something, we work hard, we ask God for direction, and when it doesn't show up right away, we think He said no. But the truth is, God sits just saying, hold on, I got something bigger. I got something better. I'm still working behind the scene. I used to get frustrated when doors wouldn't open. But now I thank Him because every door that didn't open protected me from something I wasn't ready for. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn in my life is that just because something is delayed don't mean it's denied. That's a principle I live by now, but it took me years of pain, frustration, and confusion to understand it. See, we live in a world where everybody wants everything quick. We want instant success, instant money, instant results. We got fast food, fast internet, fast cars, and then we expect God to move on our time like He's some kind of vending machine. We pray for something, and when it doesn't happen by next Friday, we think God done turned His back on us. But I came to tell you, God ain't ignoring you. He just works on a different clock. His timing ain't like ours. Think about it like this. You ever order something online and you just so excited, you keep checking that tracking number every couple hours. You already paid for it. You already put your order in, and now you just waiting on delivery. And you don't get mad at the delivery truck for not showing up that same night, do you? Because you understand the process. You know it's coming. You just don't know the exact minute. That's how God works. When you pray and believe, the order has already been placed. The blessing is on the way. But if you cancel it by losing faith, or if you step out of position because you got impatient, you miss the delivery. See, when things don't show up right away, most people start to think, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe God don't hear me. And I want you to stop right there, because that's a lie the enemy loves to plant in your head. If God gave you the vision, if He put the dream inside of you, He fully intends to deliver on it. The delay is not Him saying no, it's Him saying hold tight, I'm still working on it. Some of y'all got blessings in the oven right now, and you keep trying to pull them out before they done cooking. You ever try to eat something half-baked? It's nasty, it ain't right, it'll make you sick. That's what happens when you rush God. You end up with something underdeveloped that was supposed to be great if you just waited. I remember back when I was struggling in my career, when I was sleeping in my car and barely scraping by, I used to cry out to God and say, man, when is it my turn? I'm doing everything I can, I'm grinding, I'm praying, but nothing's happening. I thought maybe I had misheard my calling. Maybe comedy wasn't really the dream God had for me. But let me tell you something. God was setting me up. He wasn't denying me. He was delaying me until I was truly ready. If I had gotten a big break too early, before I had the wisdom, the maturity, and the work ethic to handle it, I would have lost it all. Fame would have crushed me instead of elevating me. The delay was my preparation. Some of you right now are sitting in a season of waiting. And you're frustrated. You're watching other people get blessed. You're watching your friends move ahead, and you're thinking, why not me, Lord? But what you don't see is that God is protecting you from something you ain't ready for yet. That job you thought you needed, maybe the people there would have crushed your spirit. That relationship you were begging for, maybe that person would have broken you in ways you couldn't recover from. That opportunity you thought was perfect, maybe it would have pulled you away from your true purpose. Every closed door, every no, every delay you faced is actually a part of God's mercy. He knows the end from the beginning, and He ain't about to let you sabotage your own future. Here's the thing, when you finally do walk into that blessing, you're going to look back and say, oh, that's why it took so long. You'll understand that the waiting season wasn't wasted. It was working. Every delay was building your character, stretching your patience, and shaping your faith. Because let me be real, if God gave you everything you asked for right, when you asked for it, you wouldn't even value it. We don't respect what comes easy. We don't cherish what costs us nothing. That's why diamonds take pressure. That's why gold goes through fire. That's why success takes time. The delay is what makes the victory sweet. I want you to hold on to this truth. A delay does not mean God has forgotten you. It does not mean you're being punished. It does not mean you're unworthy. It simply means the time ain't right yet. Your blessing has a date on it, and you can't rush that. You can't push God's hand, but you can prepare your own hands to be ready when He does open the door. So while you're waiting, don't waste the wait. Use that time to grow, to learn, to get disciplined, to build your faith muscle. Because when that blessing shows up, and trust me, you don't want to be empty-handed, unprepared, or out of position. So next time life slows down on you, next time the answer don't come when you want it, remind yourself the delay is not the denial. God's got it handled. All you got to do is keep believing, keep moving, and keep trusting your moment is on the way. 2, God knows the right season. You can plant the seed, you can water it, you can nurture it, but the harvest only comes in the right season. Some of y'all are asking God for things. But if He gave it to you right now, you wouldn't know how to handle it. You want that big career, but you ain't prepared for the pressure. You want that relationship, but you still need healing from the last one. God knows the right season for your blessing. And when that season comes, nothing and nobody can stop it. One of the greatest lessons I had to learn in my life is that everything has a season. You can plant the seed, you can water it, you can pray over it, you can do everything in your power, but that seed still won't grow until it's the right time. That's just how life works. And the same thing is true with God's blessings. He knows exactly when to release them, and He's not going to let it happen 1 second before you're ready. See, we live in a microwave generation, but we serve a crock-pot God. We want it right now. We want instant results, instant success, instant breakthrough. We want to plant the seed on Monday and be eating fruit by Friday. But God don't work like that. He takes His time because He knows what's best for us. And sometimes what looks like a delay is really just God saying, hold up, it's not the right season yet. Think about it. You don't see a farmer getting mad at the soil in the wintertime, yelling at it because the crops ain't growing. Why? Because the farmer understands seasons. He knows you don't reap in the same season you sow. You put the seed in the ground, and then you got to wait through a process, rain, sun, storms, and time before you see the harvest. The farmer don't quit. He don't dig the seed up to check if it's growing. He don't give up just because it takes a while. He trusts the season. That's the same kind of patience you've got to have when it comes to your dreams and your blessings. Some of y'all are frustrated right now because you've been working, grinding, praying, and you don't see results yet, and you thinking, man, maybe this ain't for me. But let me tell you something, just because it hasn't happened yet don't mean it won't. Some things just ain't in season right now. That dream you're chasing, it might be springtime, you're planting seeds, but you can't see the fruit yet. That don't mean God ain't working. It just means He's getting you ready for harvest. Now here's what I know for sure. If God gave you everything you wanted right when you asked for it, most of us wouldn't even be able to handle it. That's the truth. You want that promotion, but are you prepared for the pressure that comes with leadership? You want that $1 million, but are you disciplined enough to manage 100? You're asking God for a spouse, but are you healed enough from the last relationship to not carry that baggage into the new one? God ain't trying to punish you by making you wait. He's trying to protect you. Because what good is a blessing if it destroys you when it shows up too soon? I can tell you from my own life, When I first started chasing comedy, I wanted fame right away. I thought I was ready. I thought, man, if I could just get on TV, if I could just get that big break, I'd be set. But God knew better. If I had gotten everything I prayed for at that moment, I would have messed it up. I didn't have the maturity, I didn't have the discipline, I didn't have the faith foundation to handle that kind of success. I had to go through some seasons of rejection, seasons of struggle, seasons of living in my car, seasons of wondering if it was ever going to happen. And those seasons weren't wasted. Those seasons built me. Those seasons prepared me. So when God finally opened the door, I was ready to walk through it and not lose it. You see, God's timing is always strategic. He don't just hand things out randomly. He aligns your blessing with your ability to handle it. That's why you got to trust him. You don't see the full picture right now, but he does. He knows what's around the corner. He knows who needs to be in your life, who needs to be out of your life, and exactly what you need to go through to get strong enough to hold on to what he's about to give you. And here's the beauty of it. When the season is right, you don't have to force it. You don't have to beg. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to chase people down to give you an opportunity. When it's your season, doors just start opening. People just start calling. The right connections just fall into place. You can't explain it. You can't control it. You just know it's God moving. Because when he says it's your time, nobody on earth can stop it. So don't despise the season you're in right now. You might be in a season of preparation, a season of waiting, a season of growth. It might not feel good. It might not look promising, but it's necessary. Every season has a purpose. Winter makes the roots grow deep. Spring allows new beginnings. Summer develops the fruit, and harvest comes in the fall. Each season matters. Each season builds on the next. If you skip one, the whole process falls apart. I want you to hear me on this. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are exactly where God wants you to be. Trust his process. Trust his timing. Because when the season is right, you won't have to question it. It'll be undeniable. You'll know without a doubt that it was God who did it. So stop comparing your season to somebody else's. Just because they're harvesting right now don't mean you're failing. It just means your harvest is on the way. Focus on your soil. Keep watering your dream. Keep showing up. Keep believing, because your season is coming. And when it does, it'll blow your mind. Waiting builds character. Waiting. Man, let me tell you, waiting is one of the toughest things you'll ever have to do. Nobody likes it. We live in a culture that hates to wait. We got fast food, one-click shopping, instant downloads. We want everything right now. And when it doesn't happen quick enough, we start doubting. We get frustrated. We even get mad at God. But here's what I've learned through my life. Waiting is not wasted. Waiting builds character. Waiting is where God shapes you into the person who can handle the blessing you've been praying for. See, everybody wants the blessing, but not everybody wants the process. And the process almost always involves waiting. You want that dream career? You're going to have to wait through some long nights, some rejection, some jobs you don't like before the right opportunity shows up. You want that financial breakthrough? You're going to have to wait through some tight seasons, some discipline, some sacrifices before you see overflow. You want that relationship, that marriage, that family? You're going to have to wait while God works on you, grows you, and heals you, so you're ready for it. Waiting is part of the deal. And here's the thing. Waiting reveals who you really are. Anybody can smile when everything's going good, when the doors are opening, when the money's flowing. But who are you when nothing seems to be moving? Who are you when you've been praying for years and it still hasn't happened? Who are you when life seems stuck? That's when your character gets tested. That's when your faith gets stretched. That's when you find out if you really trust God or if you were just in love with the idea of Him blessing you quick. Waiting will test your patience. Waiting will test your discipline. Waiting will make you want to quit. But that's exactly why it's so important, because while you're waiting, God is growing you. He's building resilience in you. He's teaching you how to stand tall, even when the storm is raging. He's showing you how to lean on Him instead of your own strength. And when you come out of that waiting season, you're not just going to have the blessing, you're going to have the strength and wisdom to keep it. So I'll give you an example from my own life. Back when I was sleeping in my car, I was waiting on my breakthrough. I had the dream, I had the talent, but I didn't have the opportunity yet. And every day I'd wake up cramped in that car and wonder, God, when is it going to happen for me? I was frustrated. I was tired. I was ready to give up. But looking back now, that waiting season built something in me that I still carry today. It built grit. It built work ethic. It built gratitude. If I had skipped that season, if I had gotten the blessing without the waiting, I probably wouldn't have respected it. I wouldn't have appreciated it. That waiting made me who I am. See, blessings without character can destroy you. That's why God uses waiting to shape your character. Think about it. If He gave you money before you learned how to manage a little, you blow it all. If He gave you power before you learned humility, you'd abuse it. If He gave you success before you learned discipline, you lose it quick. The waiting season is where you learn those lessons. It's where you develop the humility, the patience, the wisdom you need to keep what's coming. And let me tell you, waiting also builds appreciation. Because when you've waited for something, when you've prayed, cried, struggled, and endured, the day that blessing shows up, you don't take it for granted. You don't waste it. You don't forget who gave it to you. You fall on your knees and say, thank you, Lord. That gratitude becomes part of your character. But here's the mistake a lot of people make in the waiting season. They waste it. They complain. They compare themselves to other people. They get bitter. And all that does is make the season feel longer. The waiting season isn't meant for you to just sit around doing nothing. It's meant for preparation. If you're waiting on a dream job, use the waiting season to sharpen your skills. If you're waiting on a relationship, use the waiting season to work on yourself. If you're waiting on a breakthrough, use the waiting season to build your faith. That way, when the door opens, you're ready to walk through it. I know it's not easy. Waiting can make you feel invisible. It can make you feel like God forgot about you. But I'm here to tell you, He hasn't forgotten. Every single moment of that wait is being used for your good. He's shaping you, molding you, and setting you up for something better than you even imagined. So don't despise the wait. Don't rush through it. Don't give up in the middle of it. Learn from it. Grow through it. Because when you finally come out on the other side, you'll realize the waiting season was just as important as the blessing itself. You'll look back and say, if it wasn't for that season, I wouldn't have the strength, the faith, or the character I have today. Waiting ain't wasted. Waiting builds character. And character is what's going to carry you when the blessing comes. 4. My own story. When I was broke, sleeping in my car, I prayed to God every single night. I said, Lord, I know you put this dream in me, so why isn't it happening? And you know what? If I had blown up too early, before I was ready, I probably would have lost it all. But because God made me wait, by the time He opened the right doors, I was ready to step into my purpose. Today I look back and realize every tear, every struggle, every delay was part of the process. Let me tell y'all something about my own journey, because sometimes people look at where I am now, they see the TV shows, the books, the suits, the success, and they think it's always been like this. But the truth is, it wasn't. There was a long, hard stretch of my life where I was struggling, where I was broke, where I was barely hanging on. And it was in that season that I learned the most about God's timing, about patience, and about never giving up on the vision he put inside of me. I'll never forget those nights sleeping in my car. That wasn't no metaphor. That was my real life. I had a 1976 Ford, and that car became my house. I had a cooler in the trunk with some sandwiches and bologna. I had my clothes in a duffel bag. Some nights it got so cold, I'd wake up shivering, and I'd just sit there and cry, asking God why. I'd pray, Lord, you gave me this gift to make people laugh. You gave me this dream, so why is it so hard? Why am I out here struggling while other people seem to be living good? And you know what? At the time, I thought God was punishing me. I thought maybe I had done something wrong. But looking back now, I can see clear as day. He wasn't punishing me. He was preparing me. That season in the car wasn't wasted. It taught me humility. It taught me gratitude. It built my toughness. It made me appreciate every single blessing I have today. Because if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't value what I have now. See, everybody wants to be successful, but nobody wants to go through the struggle that shapes you into somebody who can handle success. If God had given me the platform I have today back then, when I was still immature, when I didn't know how to manage money, when I didn't know how to manage myself, I would have lost it all. I wouldn't have been able to carry it. That season of struggle was the gym where God trained me. He was building my muscles, not my physical ones, but my faith muscles. Every time I thought about quitting and I still kept going, that was a rep. Every time I got rejected but still showed up, that was another rep. Every time I prayed, even when I didn't see answers, that was another rep. And before I knew it, I had the strength to stand when the blessing finally came. I remember one time I was so broke, I couldn't even put gas in the car to get to a comedy gig. And this gig wasn't paying much, but it was an opportunity. I sat there thinking, man, maybe this ain't for me. And I'll never forget it. I picked up the phone and I got a call from somebody who believed in me, who said, Steve, I'll loan you the money, don't quit. You got something. That little push was enough to get me to the show, and that show led to another and another. But if I had quit in that waiting season, none of this you see today would have happened. Sometimes your story is the best testimony you can carry. People can argue with your opinion, they can ignore your advice, but they can't deny your story. My story proves that even when you're at the bottom, even when you're living out of a car, even when life looks impossible, God can still turn it around. He can still use you. He can still take your mess and make it into a message. And let me tell you something else. Success didn't erase the struggle. It made me appreciate it. Every morning I wake up now, I thank God for a bed, for a house, for food, things most people take for granted, I'm grateful for because I remember what it felt like to not have them. And that gratitude keeps me grounded. It reminds me that none of this is because of me, it's because of Him. So when I tell you to trust God's timing, I'm not just saying it to sound motivational. I'm saying it because I lived it. I'm saying it because I know what it feels like to wait and not understand. I know what it feels like to see other people winning while you're still struggling. I know what it feels like to wonder if God even hears your prayers. But I also know what it feels like when the season finally shifts, when the doors finally open, when the blessing finally comes. And let me tell you, the wait is worth it. Don't ever let your current situation make you believe that's how the story ends. Sleeping in a car was a chapter in my life, but it wasn't the whole book. Being broke was a page, but it wasn't the whole story. And if you're in a tough season right now, I need you to hear me. It's just a chapter. It's just a season. It's not forever. Don't stop in the middle of it. Don't close the book before the good part comes. If my life proves anything, it's that God can take you from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, but you gotta keep the faith in between. You gotta trust Him in the waiting. You gotta let Him shape you through the struggle, because one day that struggle will become your story, and that story will inspire somebody else to keep going. That's why I don't hide what I've been through. I don't sugarcoat it. I tell it just like it was ugly, messy, hard, because I want you to know if God did it for me, he can do it for you too. 5. Your job versus God subs Job. Here says the deal. Your job is faith and hard work. God's job is timing. Too many of us try to play both roles. We want to force things. We want to control the outcome. But when you let go, when you say, God, I trust you, I'll keep moving, but I won't rush you, that's when peace comes. One of the biggest mistakes we make in life is thinking that we can play God's role. We confuse our responsibilities with his. We try to control things that were never ours to control. And every single time it leaves us frustrated, worn out, and disappointed. But I'm here to tell you, your job is faith and hard work. God's job is timing. And when you stop trying to do his job and just focus on yours, life gets a whole lot simpler. Now let me break it down, because some of y'all might be saying, Steve, what do you mean my job is faith and hard work? It's simple. Your responsibility is to believe, to stay hopeful, and to put in the effort. Your responsibility is to prepare, to show up, to do your part every day with excellence. But it is not your responsibility to decide when the blessing comes, how the opportunity shows up, or where the breakthrough comes from. That part belongs to God. See, we spend so much time stressing ourselves out because we want to control the outcome. We want to force doors open. We want to speed up the process. We want to call the shots. And then when it doesn't happen the way we pictured it, we get discouraged. But the truth is, it was never your job to control the timing in the first place. That's God's territory. Let me put it like this. You ever been in a restaurant where you place your order and then you keep going back to the kitchen to check if it's ready yet? You wouldn't do that, right? Because you know the chef has a process. You know he's back there seasoning it, cooking it, making sure it's just right before it comes out. All you got to do is sit at the table, stay patient, and be ready to eat when it arrives. That's exactly how God works. Once you've done your part, prayed, prepared, planted your seeds, you don't need to run back and forth to the kitchen of heaven trying to rush him. You just got to trust that he's cooking it up right. And when it's ready, it'll be served. The problem is, most of us don't like sitting at the table. We get restless. We start thinking, man, maybe they forgot about me. Maybe the order ain't coming. And so we get up, we leave, we walk out before the meal even shows up. And that's how a lot of us treat our blessings. We quit right before it's about to be delivered. We try to take matters into our own hands. And what happens, we mess it up. I know this personally because I tried to play God plenty of times. I tried to force things before I was ready. I tried to make my career happen on my own timing. And every single time it backfired. I'd end up broke, stressed, disappointed, thinking God had abandoned me. But really the problem was I stepped into his role. I was trying to do his job instead of trusting him. What I've learned over the years is that peace comes when you stay in your lane. When you stop worrying about what only God can do and you focus on what you can do. You can control your attitude. You can control your effort. You can control how you treat people, how you prepare, how you show up. But you cannot control the timing of your blessing. That's not your business. That's above your pay grade. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean you just sit on the couch waiting for God to drop something in your lap. That's not faith. That's laziness. Faith without works is dead. Your job is to put in the work, to keep showing up even when you don't see results yet. Your job is to keep rehearsing, keep studying, keep building, keep sowing those seeds. Because when God's timing meets your preparation, that's when the miracle happens. Let me give you an example. When I was still a struggling comedian, I didn't know when my break was coming. I couldn't control that. But I could control how I prepared. So I worked on my jokes. I stayed ready. I kept grinding. And one night when the opportunity came out of nowhere, a big show, the right people in the audience, I was ready. That wasn't luck. That was God's timing lining up with my preparation. If I had sat around doing nothing, hoping success would knock on my car window while I was sleeping in it, I would have missed it. My job was to stay ready. His job was to bring the opportunity at the right time. Here's what I want you to understand. Life gets a whole lot lighter when you stop carrying what ain't yours to carry. Some of y'all are stressed because you're trying to carry God's responsibility on your back. You're trying to figure out the when and the how and the where. That's His lane. Let it go. Focus on your lane. Focus on staying faithful, staying prepared, staying consistent. Because here's the truth. When it's your time, it's your time. Nobody can block it. Nobody can delay it. Nobody can steal it. But until then, your job is to keep believing and keep working. Stop trying to be God. Stay in your role and let Him do His. And when the blessing finally comes, you'll realize it showed up at the perfect time. Not too early, not too late, but right when you were ready to receive it. And that's when you'll say, man, I'm so glad I didn't give up trying to do His job. I'm so glad I stayed faithful in mine. So if you're waiting right now, waiting for a breakthrough, a healing, a dream, a relationship, don't give up. Don't think God forgot about you. He hasn't. He's preparing you. He's positioning you. He's setting you up for something greater than you ever imagined. And when it comes, you suddenly going to look back and say, man, it was worth the wait. Trust God's timing because His timing is perfect.